Hi, it's Marilyn Price. You probably are looking around and saying, where is she? Well, come to the Evanston History Center. We are going to take you on a tour today, not just of the Evanston History Center, which serves two wonderful things. It is also was the home of Charles Gates Dawes, the Vice President of the United States. So, in a few minutes, I'm going to flip the camera around and start walking through this in remarkable house and tell you a little bit about Charlie. That's what they called him. I wasn't that close a personal friend. And then take you into the parlor where you and I are going to meet Charlie, the puppet I made. So here we go. This is the front door. Behind me, of course, is the hallway. And I am delighted to be with you. So get ready because we are about to switch cameras. Perfect. So if you were entering the hall when Charlie lived here, this is exactly how it looked. Charlie and Carol, excuse me. They lived here with two of their children, and Charlie did some amazing things as Vice President of the United States. So I'm taking you into the room, which I lovingly call the This Is How We Know All About Charlie room, which I've done a little bit of work on his amazing, as they call it, crowded life. So here he is, Charles Gates Dawes, Vice President of the United States under Calvin Coolidge. There's a lot of memorabilia here, wonderful pictures, and we aren't going to take a whole lot of time because I would like you to come and visit in Evanston, Illinois at 225 Greenwood, or you could even visit on the internet. This tells you a little bit about all the work that Charlie has done. I call it his concert tour guide shirt. So he was a lawyer, entrepreneur, controller of the currency. Look at those dates for those of you who haven't been around even as long as me. 1897 to 1901. He ran for the Senate. He was a banker. He was a brigadier general in World War I, first director of the federal budget. He won a Nobel Peace Prize, the International Committee of Experts. He was the ambassador to England, appointed by President Hoover. And one of my favorite things he did, as if I'd know him yet, he wrote music, and one of the songs he wrote in the 50s was changed into a lyrical piece, and they won a Grammy for it. So I'm going to even show you the piano. So we're going to just walk around because when you come here to the History Center, you can see all of this. All right. This is a beautiful little room, sort of round and very lovely. Now, we are now entering the hall where you would come in and be greeted by the family. So we're going to walk through here. Look at this staircase. Is it not a grand staircase? And that's exactly what it was called. Now, upstairs now are the offices of the History Center. The building, when Charlie and then eventually Carol died, she lived longer than he, was given to Northwestern University, who gave it back. And now it is taken care of by the History Center. And you probably notice it's rather dark in there. This house is very dependent on sunlight. We don't have a lot of it today, but when we do, it is pretty awesome here. So we're going to keep on going, and we're going to go into my favorite room, but not just because it is a magnificent room. Look at those ceilings. I should probably look up to the ceiling. And while we're looking up, let me just curve you around here. We're going to look up there. And you're going to see something most dining rooms don't have. Yes, it is. It's a little balcony. Now, Charlie didn't do that balcony, and he never used it, but I think someday, I think you and I should do a puppet show up there. It was for musicians to entertain the people who came for dinner. But it was not used by Charlie, because this is one of the cool things about Charlie. He wanted always to have a round table. This table is still decorated for the holidays. Charlie probably would have done that as well, and Carol. But why a round table? Because look at this. If you have a round table, there is nobody at the head of the table. And you can all talk to each other. What a great idea. And this table's kind of magic too, because it does get bigger and bigger and bigger with wedges, I do believe. Pretty nice. So this is one of my favorite rooms, and I've been to parties here. It's all done in wood. Quite lovely. So we are now going to continue walking for just a minute through the hallway, and we're going to end up walking through the parlor. We're still packing up things here. And this is called the Grand Hall. What was lovely, in Charlie's day, he did all of his work from these desks here. This desk right here. This is Charlie's desk. He sat here, the Vice President of the United States. He did stuff, wrote papers, had meetings. He was pretty astonishing. Now, what the History Center has wonderfully done was put together a whole bunch of other things. Now, I'm taking you into places normally I don't get to go, because we guard this building because it's not just precious, but it's also fragile about its age. So look at the books here. We have books that were written by people who live in Evanston, Illinois. Downstairs, right below here, is the archives, where you can, even if you live in Evanston, you can go and look up the history of your house. And so always something to do, always some bustling. We may have people come through while I'm giving you our tour today. So we're going to walk around here. And that globe there, probably not up to date, because it was here in Charlie's time. And this is Charlie's favorite chair. The story goes that he went downtown on the very last day of his life, had a full day of work, came home, sat in that chair, and quietly and peacefully died after a long and very crowded life. So let me introduce you to Charlie's wife, Carol, who ran the household here. Some of the things that you can learn about are he established food banks during the Great Depression. There is a portrait of him. And we have one more picture there. It's right over here. And this is the lady of the house, Carol. And you can come and meet her yourself. Now I'm going to take you to see the piano. This is not the original piano, but when we have functions at this beautiful place, we sit here. Not me, because the only musical instrument I can play is a CD player. People, lovely musicians, play some of Charlie's music, and usually patriotic music too. So now we are in the parlor. So imagine, if you will, that you have been invited to Charlie's house to a party, or invited by the History Center to learn more about Charlie. You would be taken into this room here. So I am going to introduce you to Puppet Charlie, which I made with the help of a friend of mine. The first thing I'm going to do is, that's not a good thing to do, Alan, is turn the camera back to me. Hi, welcome back. So I am here surrounded by all this beauty. So we decided we were going to have a party for Charlie and introduce kids and start writing an ABC book. The very first thing I was able to do, Charlie decided to jump on the floor, is I decided that we should have a way to introduce everyone to Charlie. So a friend of ours did a caricature of Charlie so that we could start to create a book all about Charlie. We call it the ABC book of Charles Gates Dawes. And each of the letters has something special about it. And this is a puppet itself, right? You put a stick on it. So maybe you have a picture of you, put on a stick, and you can have a puppet as well. Maybe you can have something a little fancier. So what I like to do is, I like to take these plain old puppets, and I like to, you've met these two, right? They can scratch their nose, they can be friends. Puppets are held like that. So what we did, just to introduce the community to Charlie, was I took the caricature that my friend Mike Roth had, and I made a picture of it with the magic of the computer and put it on top of that puppet. So I brought this to you because I want you to think about taking those simple little puppets, easy to find, or maybe you know someone who sews, and put them in any color you want. And then take a picture. Oh, see what that says? It says, back us in 25. What does that mean? Not 2025. 1925, when Charlie accepted the nomination to be vice president of the United States. Could you show them where? Up, right out that window. Also out that window, which you cannot see, is Lake Michigan. Charlie lived a block from Lake Michigan. Not a bad location. So here's me and here's Charlie, the puppet. And he can walk around us too. So one of the things I love about this house, besides its beautiful age and the way that it is kept in such lovely shape, is that on this space, Charles Gates Dawes, Vice President of the United States, his wonderful wife Carol, and 2 children lived in this house. The kids went to Evanston schools. They played in the neighborhood. They had friends and buddies. And he lived here long after he was Vice President of the United States. So I would like you to know about him and all the things that he did, because we here at the Mentor Project in the Evanston History Center, which was the home of Charles Gates Dawes, think that anybody can succeed in whatever they put their mind to. You could even be vice president or president of the United States. All it takes is hard work, luck, and in his case, an incredible, busy, crowded life. So I thank you for coming, and I'm hoping that throughout the course of our tour together, you have learned a little bit of history and had a little bit of fun, and maybe you'll think about making a puppet. But for sure, look us up at the Mentor Project Facebook live stream, and I'm going to actually ask my friends here at the History Center if they'll put it up on their website. Have a great day, a day of great, a day that might even mirror Charles Gates Dawes. I thank you, of course, for coming. I always do. May your day be full and happy.